Sup everyone, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about something that has been around since the beginning of Genshin Impact. And while this topic has been around, the answer, there's really no right answer in my opinion. Play the game however you want, but really, if you think about it, what gets you the most value really has changed since the beginning of Genshin up until now in Fontaine, right? Like 4.2, eventually 3, 4, 5, 6, 5.0, and onwards, and it likely will continue to change. However, today's topic, as you guys likely already heard this before, is whether it's more worth it for players now to hunt for Constellation for characters they like, or save gems to just pull for more characters so they have more diversity and different ways of playing the game and interacting with different characters. The reason I'm bringing up this conversation right now is because with Furina's banner, a lot of people are kind of at odds with each other. They're saying, well, C0 Furina with a free-to-play weapon is completely fine. The game is so easy, you don't need it. Well, if the game is so easy, you don't need any of the 5 stars, right? You don't need to do any of this. So the whole argument being the game is so easy, so you don't need Constellation is, to me, it just kind of falls apart before it even starts assembling itself. And if you were to backtrack all the way back to maybe like the 1.0 era of the game, I think back then I would definitely stand alongside with the people who are in support of C0 characters and saving gems to pull for more characters instead of just powering up their constellations. Because back in the day, the game was still so fresh, there was still so much to explore, options for reactions and new ways of interacting with the game. So your investment in a new character was very much more worthwhile back then as opposed to now. And this was definitely before Hoyoverse realized that selling high value constellations at lower constellations was the best way to get people to open up their wallets with Raiden C2, right? They experimented with that, it has proven to work, and then they've experimented more with other non-Archon characters with C1s, C2s that also seem to yield very good results monetary wise for Hoyoverse. So this is no longer the era where you can get a C4 Zhao that gives you like what was it, defense boost. It no longer is that era, yet so many people are still holding onto the belief that constellations are a huge whale bait. They're terrible investments, and most people should just invest horizontally for their accounts, meaning just pull for as many 5 stars as you can. Don't even worry about constellations because the game is so easy, right? And I just don't think that to be true anymore. Hoyoverse has started to really push the narratives of constellations as well. Just look at the Fontaine characters. The game is slowly ramping up in difficulty. If you look at Abyss bosses now and Abyss 12 cumulative HP pools versus, let's say, a year ago, even 2 years ago, it's very different. And where is all that extra HP pool coming from? And where is the damage that's supposed to take care of this HP pool coming from? Better artifacts, well optimized characters, more OP broken ass teams, well, maybe a bit of everything, right? Constellations definitely plays a part in all this. If you're a new player coming into Genshin Impact today, you're gonna feel very different power spikes as opposed to if you were a new player back in 1.0, 2.0. The game has fundamentally changed. While the core of the game has not changed, power shifts have started to occur where people are not used to. Sure, C0 characters still work, but they are vastly inferior to very little invested C1s, R1 versions of themselves, sometimes even feeling like a different character. Transformative constellations no longer exist solely in the C6 investment slot, but now C1, C2 characters can feel incredible boosts that can heighten one's playing experience. So what am I saying exactly? Am I saying to pull out your wallets and swipe endlessly for this game? No, I'm telling you guys to be much more careful of which characters you want to invest in, because chances are if you invest in a character C1, C2, it's going to yield you much better results as opposed to investing into 3 different C0 free-to-play weapon characters. And that's just the truth. That's how Hoyoverse has designed the game, because this game is capitalizing on the fact that people cannot wait. They cannot save their gems. They cannot plan out accordingly. Why do you think Hoyoverse is so outwardly against leaks? It's because they don't want people to be able to know what characters do ahead of time and prepare for them and save their gems. The best scenario for Hoyoverse is if you blew every bit of gems you have, every opportunity you get, and when a character that I really like comes out, you really love to death, then you pull out your wallets. But that doesn't have to be the case. I don't understand why people keep saying, well, Walrus, you're just telling people to spend money. I am not. I'm telling you to be much wiser with your primo gems. I'm telling you guys to wait, be patient. Maybe don't pull immediately when a banner comes out. Maybe wait until the last week or the last few days of the banner. your gems aren't going anywhere. You just get more information, you get more intel. Yes, is it maybe a little difficult and boring to play the game this way and make it feel too much like a hog fest and you're just trying too hard? Maybe a little, but then again, for people who are encouraging others to pull for new characters instead of investing into constellations for characters they really love, how many characters can one realistically build and play constantly? I guarantee you, if you have pulled for as many characters as you can without building them vertically, there's a good chance you have a ton of 5 stars just sitting around doing nothing for multiple patches on end. And I'm sorry, that to me is just not a good way to invest your gems. You play with a toy periodically, you get bored of it, and then you move on to the next one. Why not just invest into something that you really care about and invest well into it? No need to hop around, and just focus on a few select elites that you've poured your heart and soul into. This also saves you a lot of time farming for artifacts. You really grind out the artifact for 2 complete teams of characters that you really love playing, and the core of those teams, you have a couple constellations in, you have their signature weapon, and you don't feel like the time you've invested or the resin you've invested into their artifacts are wasted. Imagine, let's say, if you pulled Ito's C0 free-to-play weapon, and then you spend a month, 2 months grinding his artifact, and then now you have Nuvled and you almost never touch Ito ever again. Or the same thing with Zhao, or the same thing with Ayato. You just have a bunch of C0 free-to-play weapon 5 stars sitting around not doing anything, versus let's say if you got a C2 R1 Nuvled with a C2 R1 Farina, you're likely going to use this combo for much longer, as opposed to just having them fall off at the next checkpoint because you got bored or they're not keeping up with the status quo anymore. Abyss will slowly ramp up even more. Sure, you might say, hey, it's very easy right now, but try telling that to somebody who's 3 months into the game and don't consume as much guide content as you do. The game is not really easy for people who are just chilling and trying to play the game casually. Sure, if you're a hardcore player, you check out guides, or you're very meticulous about how you optimize your artifacts and stats for your characters, you might find the game very easy and a breeze through. But these constellations can actually help a lot of people take the game a lot more casually and focus their efforts elsewhere. And let's be honest, nowadays most people don't even play the Abyss anymore because it's such a chore to get through. So that's even more reason why people would say constellations are useless. But for me, a transformative way to engage with a character that you really like is worthwhile no matter how you look at it. It doesn't have to be pulling out a wallet. It could be just months of patience and proper planning. And with that said, make sure to subscribe and comment down below, what do you think right now is the best course of action for players to build their rosters, vertically or horizontally? Look forward to reading the comments, and until next time, urge you to stay safe. Peace, bye.